let's flip to the ladies. And when you look at the draw, the first two names you see, Iga Swiatek playing against Sofia Kenin. Now, we cannot forget about the fact that Sofia Kenin took out Coco Gauff in the first round at Wimbledon. So she likes doing this. She did it last year. She came through qualies, so she was playing really good tennis coming into Wimbledon. She took out Coco Gauff, and now she has the luck of playing the number one seed. And I'm telling you right now, if there's an upset, it could be this one. And I know Iga has beaten her both times that they've played, and they only play at Grand Slams, which is ridiculous.
Right.
They've played twice, and Iga's won both matches in straight sets. Okay, but on grass, this is a nightmare for Iga Swiatek first round because she has played no matches coming in here on grass, and to play on a really fast, slow, like the ball is going to stay low. Sofia Kenin is a nightmare first round for her. Give me your thoughts on that first round.
It's like the playing Osaka early on of the French Open part,
Yeah.
The sequel. Look, like you said, Kenin, look, she's a Grand Slam champion. She's crafty, and that's, when you're playing people on grass that are crafty, it's difficult. Kenin's gonna hit 30 drop shots. She's gonna bring Iga in where she's not overly comfortable. Iga's as great as she is, grass isn't her best surface. And to play someone like this right out of the chute when you're, you don't have your bearings, you don't know how the court's playing, it's gonna be difficult. And I'm with you. Like, I'm not shocked if there's an upset here. I think it's a juicy first round that everyone's gonna be glued to.
It's a nightmare for her first round. I can tell you that because that court is going to play perfectly for Sofia Kenin to, as you said, hit the drop shots, hit the ball hard through the court with the forehand, like just nail it. So it's not going to be easy for Iga. And I'm telling you, going into that, she's going to be very, very nervous. Okay. It is a rough draw for Iga. I got to tell you, for her to even possibly get to the semifinal, she's got to go through a lot of people. I really need the glasses on this because the WTA, this is the draw for the women's. And in this section of the draw, up the first half for her, even if she gets through into the fourth round, is her biggest nemesis in Olena Ostapenko, who beats Iga all the time and is a great grass court player. The one caveat is that she plays Ajla Tomljanovic, who's coming back from an injury, but has played pretty well since coming back from the injury and has played well and plays well on grass. Has made the quarters here. I believe last year made the quarters again here. So this is a nightmare for Ostapenko first round. And if you remember, do you remember the argument, Sam, that they had on the court a couple of years ago? It was
I don't
popcorn.
remember the specific argument, but I remember them arguing.
It was not pretty. Tomljanovic accused Ostapenko of faking her injuries and called her out on the court. They had the trainer on the court. It was viral. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But that first round is one of those matches where you go, take your popcorn, because that will be a tough first round. But if Ostapenko gets through there and Iga is going, no, not again, not this girl, because this is a nightmare. The one section of the draw, I think the one player we need to highlight is Danielle Collins. Look, she's had an amazing year. Yeah. She hasn't had a couple of great results of late, but if she can find her form on the grass early, not a bad section of the draw for her. Towson is a very good player and can be dangerous and hits the living daylights out of the ball. So it's not an easy first round, but Haddad Maier's in that section. But this section of the draw for Iga is really hard.
I agree. And look, I don't know the women's draw as well as you do. But like you're saying, Collins is a good player. Ostapenko, Tomljanovic. You've got, I see Kerber was in there as a wild card.
Yeah.
That's always tricky. That's always tricky as well. If Iga gets through her first round, there's a girl, her last name is Jones, a wild card from Great Britain. The players, the men and women from Great Britain know how to play on grass. So there's
and I will say, actually, I will say, I think Martic wins that match, and Martic can play
is
on
a great
grass.
court player. Yeah.
Like that's a tough section.
There's hurdles everywhere in that section for Iga.
Yeah, I mean, Putintseva, who is in that section to play Kerber, which is a nightmare for Kerber, just won a tournament on grass, beating Tomljanovic. So, these are players that know how to play on grass. They're effective on the surface, and we talk about it all the time. Match huts are important, but grass and surfaces are huge, and Iga is not comfortable on grass at all, particularly early on when the court plays a little bit different in the first week than it does in the second week. And also, just adding down the bottom half of the draw, my pick to win the tournament is Rybakina. Now, poor old Rybakina, though, again, pulls out of a tournament with an illness, all the things that are going on with her. So if she stays healthy, she's my pick to get through this. But now I have to add, down the bottom half of the draw, you've got Ons Jabeur and Jessica Pegula. Now,
Right.
if they get through, I mean, they play in the fourth round to play probably Rybakina, but Leylah Fernandez is in there, and she's in the finals of Eastbourne. So you know she plays well on grass. So this whole section of the draw is the whole half of the draw, the women's, is absolutely stacked with great grass court players who know how to win at Wimbledon. And this is a section that I would not want to be in.
No, you're absolutely right. Like Jabeur, a finalist. You've got Pegula, who just won a tournament last week. Leylah Fernandez in the final this week. Rybakina,
Kalinskaya,
Katie Bolter.
Kalinskaya, who just, yeah. I mean, they're all really, this is the section of the draw that you just go, oh, God, nightmare. I mean,
Yeah,
Kalinskaya,
it's like
who just,
if
she
you
just
took
lost. She
the
just
like
lost
the
to
six
Pegula.
best, like kind of like, hey, who are the six best kind of grass court specific players, and they put them all in that one section right there.
Nightmare. Like, actually, there's a thing on the WTA website right now where they do have the grass court power rankings. And, you know, I'll go through them for you. It's Jabeur first, Vondrousova second, because she won Wimbledon last year, Alexandrova, Ostapenko, Sabalenka, Pegula, and then it goes Madison Keys, Pliskova, Bolter. This is the top 10, and Haddad Maia. And most of those are in that section of the draw. So it's just a nightmare. Yeah. So I don't know who's going to get through here. I picked Rybakina to win the tournament, so I have to go with her. But I think Jessica Pegula is a sneaky, okay? She comes in here. She knows she was so close to being in the final last year, up 4-1, points to go up 5-1 against Vondrousova, who then went on to win the tournament. So I think Jessica Pegula comes in here fresh as a daisy. She barely has played this year with injuries, and she comes in here super healthy, super confident, and I don't know, but I can't change. I picked Rybakina. Yeah. But if I had
I like Pegula as well, and I also like she's a friend, she's an American. I'm cheering for her, and like you said, she hasn't played a lot this year. She hasn't played great, but she kind of came off of an injury and then won a tournament, so she's coming in with confidence. I think there's like that fine line of like the expectations for her aren't that high right now, so she's kind of playing with a little more loosey-goosey attitude. And look, I'm cheering for her, and I think she's going to get through this.
And I just want to add, I agree with you. But I got to stick with my person, right? No, but one little section in there, Caroline Wozniacki to play against Alicia Parks, and Alicia Parks got through qualifying and has the biggest serve and the biggest game. So she's confident that is going to be a really fun match between those two of the draw. So there's a lot of popcorn first rounds in that section, and as we said, we can't wait for it. Let's flip to the other side, or the bottom half of the draw. And Sabalenka, you'd have to say, of all the draws, I think that, you know, when we talk about all these players, there's still a lot of players in this section of the draw that can do really well. One player, obviously, that's in the final again of Eastbourne, who plays really well on grass, is Daria Kasatkina. She's in that section of the draw. But just, you know, when you look at this section of the draw, any sort of matchups that stand out for you, any players that stand out for you, there's a lot. And there's a couple of popcorn first rounds in this one too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Coco Gauff. You know, you've got Osaka in there. Everyone's kind of like, you know, is she going to bring that game that she played at the French Open against Iga to Wimbledon? If she does, like, she's a threat. For me, the most fun matchup is Azarenka versus Sloane Stephens. Assuming Sloane's got her game together and she's playing well, those are two big names and two players that have had like tremendous Grand Slam success. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. I hope Sloane can get through that. Azarenka is a phenomenal player, but I expect that one to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Qinwen Zhang up the top there, Pavlyuchenkova. I actually hit some tennis balls today, Sam, because I'm playing in the oldies. I mean, I practiced with my old doubles partner, Sam Stoser, and my old player that I was coaching, and we had so much fun. We only hit for half an hour because that's all we could do. And Sam actually said to me after that her glutes were hurting her about an hour later. So I did my job. I must have hit a miracle. But but anyway, but it was so fun, and we were hitting next to Pavlyuchenkova, and just us being able to hit without pressure is, as you know, it's so different. And being at Wimbledon, be able to hit balls on that court, and the courts are so perfect. I mean, I loved every second of it. But Pavlyuchenkova, she certainly can play on all surfaces. So we'll see who gets through that section. But she has to play Taylor Townsend in the first round. So Taylor, we know, very good on all surfaces as well. But Alexandrova, she's a threat. But guess who she plays? Raducanu, who's had a couple of good wins. She beat Jessica Pegula last week. I saw Jessica today, and she said, because part of me was thinking, did she want to get out of there and get to Wimbledon? And you know what it's like. You don't want to play too much tennis before. And she goes, no, I was really trying. So obviously Raducanu is a threat. It'll be nice to see, but she has a nightmare draw first round. It'll be on center court or court one. So we'll see. But
it's nice to see Raducanu kind of with some momentum and kind of getting herself back in the thick of things and playing on a regular basis, having consistent results. So you're right. That is a nightmare draw playing Alexandrova, but it's on center court. The crowd's going to be behind Raducanu, and so that's a somewhat of a popcorn match for me.
Yeah, for sure. It is for me. And there's no question it'll be fun. There's a couple of little popcorn also in there. Badoza playing Muchova. Muchova is back, thank goodness, but pulled out of Eastbourne after winning a couple of matches, and on the advice of her team. Hopefully she's 100% coming into the tournament. We know how well she can do here at this tournament. It's probably one of her favorite surfaces. But the winner of that match will then play the winner of Andreeva and Fruhvirtova, two young players that are going to be playing forever against one another. That's some popcorn tennis there with those two youngsters. So I'm looking forward to Mira Andreeva. She can play on all surfaces. But I don't know. When you play someone about your age, it gets a little bit different. It becomes a little bit more of a junior mentality. So we'll see who gets through that section of the draw. But Sabalenka's got to feel pretty good about that section. But still, there's some good players like Kasatkina, Andreeva. Not an easy section for her to get through.
No, but like you're saying, I like Sabalenka. Right below Sabalenka, we've got your girl Paolini off the French Open final. How does her game translate over to the grass?
Good. She just, she did well in Eastbourne, lost a tough match to Kasatkina. So she comes in feeling pretty confident. She plays against a player that she probably should beat on grass in Sorribes Tormo, but she can play on grass too, likes to come into that. That'll be actually a fun match, I have to say. But Maddie Keys is in that section with Kostyuk, who can get through to the quarters there. Maddie Keys has played really well through the years on grass, and certainly at Wimbledon, she knows how to play well here. She lost a tough match today, but look, the bottom line is you've got Azarenka, you've got Emma Navarro. Hopefully she can figure out a way to do well on the grass, and I think she will probably get through that section. But someone in there is also Karolina Pliskova, who made the finals against Ash Barty a couple of years ago, who's not even seeded. So the women's draw is just stacked with so many great players. And I have to say, not an easy first round for Coco Gauff. She plays against Caroline Dolehide, another American. Never fun to play an American. No, but I tell you what,
got a huge serve too.
Massive game.
She probably has one of the 5 biggest serves in this women's draw, Dolehide. And she's going to go out there and swing away. And if things are laying it in, that's going to be a tough one for Coco. And like you said, like we were saying earlier, it's the first round match. No one comes out first round a lot of times and just plays lights out. So if Dolehide can kind of go swing for swing and hold her serve, the pressure kind of goes over to Coco. But if Coco gets through that, I like her to make a pretty deep run. I think she's going to be confident, going to play well. And I like her to kind of, make a semifinal or hopefully even more than that.
Yeah, and I saw her practicing today. She was on 18 as well, and looking really relaxed and pretty happy.